And from here on out, we're not going to share that much of personal information, right? So hopefully it's okay. So what I was thinking we could do today is to think about the characteristics of a workable topic, to start with some background information or overview information to learn a little more about the general topic, and then figure out strategies how to refine that topic and think about what keywords might be helpful to search for sources on that topic. I draft a research strategy, and last but not least, know where to turn for support. Does that make sense? Please feel free at any time to chime in, ask questions when something is not clear, okay? Please. So what do you think? I want to say what makes a workable topic is that it fits the assignment. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Right, and that's oftentimes that's the hardest part, right? To wrap your mind around what the instructor wants you to do. But then the easier part I want to say is that you care about the topic, because that means that you're going to be more involved, right? You're going to do more research on it. And then let's see, the next thing, right? You're going to be much more engaged, and you might be able to bring some of your own experiences to your work. But then also I'm thinking it's important that the topic is specific enough that you can come to a meaningful conclusion. Of course, we all know that water scarcity is a big problem in California, but isn't that a pretty big, broad topic? So if you can, wouldn't it be more satisfying to think about strategies to conserve water in your own home or in your own company? What do you think? And then, like one of you mentioned earlier, it's really hard sometimes to find sources of information. So if you can find a topic that other people also care about, right, then you'll find more sources. You can engage in a conversation. So let me try and share. So you don't have to listen to me the whole time. Let me share this one.
If you're a college student like me,
if you are about to write a dissertation,
of course, it's always the advertisements,
started
right?
your dissertation and have pretty much decided that you will be MIA from life as you know it.
When you start the research process, you will probably have a broad topic in mind. However, if you only search by topic, your paper may not have a clear focus, since each source you find might be related to a different aspect of that topic. To be done right, research needs to be guided by a focused research question. In your research question, you should focus on what you really want to find out or prove related to a specific aspect of your broad topic. For many students, developing a good research question is actually one of the hardest parts of the research process, because not every question works as a good research question. First, a good research question should not be too narrow or too broad. You can answer your question with a few facts. What else are you going to talk about in the rest of your paper? On the other hand, if you would need to write an entire book to appropriately answer your question, then it is probably not a good question for you either, at least at this level. Your question also needs to be specific, not vague. For example, a question such as, which is better, Facebook or Twitter, is vague. It is not really clear what you mean by better or on what criteria you will judge the two platforms. Also, be careful that your question is something that you can research, something for which there will be enough sources available that you will be able to access. After you've identified a possible research question, it's usually a good idea to do some preliminary research just to be sure that you will be able to locate enough sources to answer your question.
So any questions about that? Just unmute and chime in. So, yeah, they repeated what I said about defining the topic. Make sure it's a relevant one, that it's not too broad. So I think what's really helpful is to get an overview first, so you learn more about the topic. So what I like to do, oh, maybe let's back up for a moment. What do you do to define a topic or to find one, to select one? But if you don't want to speak up, you can go to the chat and type something into the chat. Okay, so to stick with the topic that they identified in the little video, I'm going to stick with social media, and I'm going to start with some of the library resources. So have you been to the DVC library website?
Yes.
Yes, no?
Yeah.
Right, so if you, oops, no, that didn't work. Let me go back. It's always all these different pages, right? Out of that. Okay, so, right, so dvc.edu. /library. And then when you scroll down a little bit, you get to see a list of databases. And at this point, what I would like to do, or where I'm going to start, is to go to the Gale eBooks, the virtual reference library. So of course you have to sign in, right? Because those are resources that the DVC library makes available to our students. Nope. Thankfully, it's not asking me for the secondhand authorization. So this is a collection of lots of different resources on different topics, but I can just start searching for my topic at the top here, and then it will search across all of the different resources. So let's say I want to stick with the social media, then it gives me suggestions for different, more specific topics I could use. But I'm just going to stick with that. And then 1,377. But let's see. So what it does is it shows me the title of a section in one of these books, and then it gives me the title of the publication, right? And it shows me the date. It shows me how many pages there are. It says that it's a topic overview, which is what I want. So let me see if I scroll down just a little more. Oh, how about this one? Social media from 2020, 5 pages. Voting and political representation in America. Does that sound good? Right, and then here's the full text for it. So it gives you suggestions on what other topics you might want to look at. It gives you a succinct but somewhat comprehensive overview of the topic. Right, so Facebook, Twitter, the hashtags, political activism, negative consequences, the echo chambers, right? You see how it's kind of addressing many different aspects of the topic. Does that make sense? And then also it gives you some selected sources, right? So that could also be helpful for you to then build your research. Does that make sense? And then I was thinking we might want to talk about Wikipedia in that context, but I don't know. Do we have enough time for that? What do you think? What is your impression of Wikipedia?
Wikipedia is good. If you scroll down to the bottom, and then there's the other like resources that they link there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think Wikipedia is really good because it links to all kinds of different resources, right? Not just books or articles, but then the more controversial a topic is, the more I want to investigate the content. What did your instructor say?
They usually say not to use Wikipedia.
Right? No, so I would not cite it, right? But in my mind, it's this wonderful collaboration of lots of different people that share their insights without recognition, right? Just because they're passionate about the topic. So I think it's a good place to start, but take it with a, what do they say? A grain of salt. So now I want to invite you to think about an upcoming assignment or something that you're interested in. Take a moment to write down some ideas about a specific question you would like to investigate, and then share it on the Jamboard. Right, I put the link into the chat. Yeah, can you all see that?
I don't see a link personally.
In the chat, if you go back up.
I don't see it either.
Me either.
But so if you go to the bottom and click on chat. No,
Not yet for me.
okay, so copy, let me share it again. Paste. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. It was just at the, I put it in there at the very beginning, but. Right, so. Right, so I set this up. It's pretty easy to use. If you go over to the sidebar here, you can click on the sticky note. And then say, okay, so my topic was social media. And then maybe elections or political involvement. Right, when you click on save, it just puts it up there. Right, and all the contributions are anonymous. So just think of something. Life terms for Supreme Court justices, yeah. Oh, I don't know about that. Inflatable space habitats? Yeah, personal health and wellness, that's definitely something that we're all struggling with, isn't it? Right, so much for multitasking. I think that's pretty much being debunked, right? So what do you, yeah, okay. So we were saying that it might be helpful to be a little more specific in the topic, right? So American gastronomy, any other details about that? But you can go back to Wikipedia or to the database that I showed you before to read some overview, get some idea about the scope of the topic, and then hopefully identify some more specific aspects. Does that make sense? Right, so thinking about how to focus the topic, you could think about who is acting, right? Who is the audience that somebody is speaking to? Who is affected by the topic, by the action that somebody is taking? So the what would be to describe the situation. When, obviously, is the time. So we can also think about where like the place, like maybe focus on California, or the sphere, right? Like, is it in real life or is it online? Or the tool that we use, right? Especially in social media. It could be, you could focus on Facebook or Twitter. And then last but not least, the question will be why? Why does this matter, right? Why is it important? And also for you to think about, what are you trying to find out, or what do you want to prove? And then that could lead to the start of a thesis statement. Yeah. So again, if you want to take a moment and think about this, jot down some notes, and then we can go back to page 2 of the Jamboard, and you can add more details to it. Yeah. So what are your thoughts? Anybody?
Are you asking how we could make our topics more specific?
Yeah, so I was just suggesting that those might be some things you could think about. Right?
Should we add it to the Jamboard?
Yes. Right, on the page 2. Right, so that was your general idea. And then if you go to the second one, that's clearly more specific, right? Inflatable space habitats, sustainable to hold human life in them for long missions. So if we go back, how about American gastronomy? How could we make that more specific? Oh, I like this one. Right, personal health and wellness for college students when struggling with career goals, jobs, achievements. But you can comment on each other's suggestions. Anybody else? Right, this is an opportunity for us to share our brains, right? To share suggestions. Ooh, I like that. College students' ability to recall words with classical music. What are the pros and cons of life terms for Supreme Court justices? Those, right, those topics are much more specific, so you could come to some specific conclusions about them. Wouldn't you agree? Anybody else? Come on. Right, so then the next step would be to think about, ooh, yeah, are the rates of carpal tunnels increasing because of computers? Maybe that could be even a little more specific, like, I think computers, right? We do have some that are supposed to be not so stressful, right? Or not put so much strain on our wrists and hands. But what about the cell phones, for example? Does that make sense? So then, once you have, decided on a more specific focus, the next step would be to think about what are the main concepts in your question. So not to pick on anybody, but let's see here. So for example, if we looked at college students, ability to recall words with classical music, present versus without. So on the open web, you can ask an open-ended question like that, but usually it's much more helpful to zero in on the main ideas, right? On the big words, so to speak. So what will be the main concepts, you think?
Classical
But
music and words.
Hmm?
Classical music and words.
Mhm.
Well,
Right, so like college students, that will be one big idea. Right, recall. So words, maybe like vocabulary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And classical music. And maybe, yes, support, right, or effect of classical music on college students' ability to recall. Yeah. Or for this one, what do you think? What will be the main ideas in this topic? So maybe life terms, Supreme Court justices, pros and cons is pretty general, right? So maybe advantages and problems. Yeah. Does that make sense? Okay, so then the next step would be to run a search, right, to get an idea of the sources that are out there. So again, I want to go back to the DVC library, to the list of databases, and in this case, I selected the academic search complete, because that's a pretty comprehensive database that will have articles about lots of different topics. And what did I say? Okay, so I said social media. And why am I putting that in quotation marks? Because then it treats it like it's one word, right? So if I just do social media, then it comes up with 43,000 articles, right? So that's not good. So then I want to add more aspects to my topic, right? And I'm just putting the and in capital letters because it's not the word that's being searched. It's just the connector. So let's see, what did I think about elections? Right? So that's better, 1,008. But then there's Nigeria, there's a Mexican one, Danish, Singapore. So what do we do? We add another concept, right? So let's say we want to focus on the United States. And again, I'm going to put that in quotation marks because United and States are both very common words, but I want them to show up together, right? So now I have 337. That's much better, isn't it? And then you could go over here on the side and refine it further by focusing on more recent resources or looking at specific types of sources. But at this point, let me just, I think this looks pretty promising. Right, so what I want to do, look at the subject terms, social media, United States, civic engagement, social media, social movements, transformative learning, look at the abstract, right? Before I invest an hour to read the whole article, let me look at the abstract and get an idea of what that source really talks about. Yep. Does that make sense? And then the whole article is here. And they can actually, you can have them read it to you. Can you believe that? And then, so all the sources in the databases that the DVC library provides are freely available to you. Right? If you go on the open web, oftentimes, have you been in that situation where you find something that you think, oh, that's really good, but then it says, please pay $19.95? And also, right, you can email it to people like your instructor, for example, to ask, would this be a good source for my paper? And then they also provide you with citations. With lots of different ones. You just copy and paste it. You do want to double check them because they're created by a machine, right? But all right. So then I have a start for my research, and I want to say that research is a process, right? So play around with it. Try lots of different words. Be flexible. Collect a bunch of sources. Be open to new ideas. Maybe you started by saying the Supreme Court justices should not have life terms, but then maybe you find this really good source that says, no, there's a point for it, because then they're not beholden to political entities, for example, right? Play around with it. Any questions? So last but not least, I want you to remember where you can turn for support. Ask your instructor. Don't be shy about that, right? That's part of what they do. They set up the assignment. They will be happy to give you more instructions on what they actually expect. Contact your classmates, right? They probably have the same question that you have. And then also, your library has provided or has put together lots of libguides, which are linked from the library homepage, right? So if you go back here, scroll down, there's the research guides. So there are library tools, the citation guide, for example, talking about different types of sources, but also sharing sources with you about lots of different topics, right? So let's say you're interested in communication. Right, so we highlight some sources, both that we provide, but also that are available on the open web. So take advantage of that. And then don't forget that we are here to talk with you, right? You can always contact us. You can chat, text, or email, or set up research appointment, right? So once you have a specific research topic, you can go back to the library website. Make a research appointment, right? So then one of us will take a half hour to walk you, to talk with you about your specific research topic and discuss different sources and different strategies. Yep. That sound good? And you don't have to be on campus, right? You can do it virtually. Okay. So your questions. None. Okay, so you know where to find us. You know where to find additional information. So the last thing I would like to ask you is to please complete the survey about this particular workshop, but also your responses will help us to design the most relevant workshops for you. Yep. So thank you for that.
Sorry, how do we access that survey?
Okay, let's see. There. Right, so again, I put it in the chat earlier. Let's see, I'm gonna copy
I
it.
don't think we
in.
can see it before that it was recorded.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. So you've been so quiet. All of you.
Long day.
Yeah, I know, right? We're all so tired of this pandemic and doesn't seem to get easier, does it? But I'm so glad that you joined me tonight, this evening.
Me too.
So please don't hesitate to contact us. But I know, I keep saying that the library thrives on questions, but it's really true, right? We're so happy to see each and every one of you in person or online.
I have a
So don't be shy.
question. I'm not, I, it's called event two, right? This workshop called event two, right? Some
Excuse
kind
me,
events.
events.
Mhm. Is a workshop or is an event?
It's a workshop.
Not event. It's not called event.
I'm not sure why why you're asking that.
Because it's my one is my project is I have to be participate in one event, and I have to do
Oh,
project presentation, and I have to do project for my uh, exam for
right. So
English
let's
class.
right. So on this is a workshop, right? And on the form, you can say how many instructors you would like to send a message to, so you can get
Yes,
the extra credit.
yes.
But then
I
events are like the speaker series, the equity speaker series or something like that.
I think the question she's asking is, what's the name of the event? It's called What Do You Care About?
Oh, yeah. Oh, so sorry. Yep. Well, but also some of the instructors give you extra credit for attending events on campus,
yes.
right? Like a rally or a speaker series or something.
This workshop name is what do you care about?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
So I hope we all get some rest this evening. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You know where to go to ask your questions, right?
But the thing is, I don't have any question how to ask question, and for that, the question, right?
Could you say that again, please?
Sometimes people doesn't know how they ask question, right?
How they ask?
Question, because they doesn't know what to ask, right?
The question?
Mhm. If something new for them, right? They doesn't know what to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how to ask people, okay, is a right question or is a wrong question? You don't understand me?
No, I'm not the right portion.
Just like this topic, this workshop, right?
Mhm.
This is all about what do you care about, right? How, so it is all about asking research.
So you're talking about this, how to fill out this form?
No, it's okay. I'm doing it. I may still work on it. Okay.
Hi, Professor. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I just missed the start of this workshop, so I just want to know if that workshop is helping for us to improve our paper or essay.
So this workshop is about trying to think of a topic and narrowing it down so that you can do some meaningful research about it
Mhm.
in order to write your essay.
Yeah.
You can you can contact the tutoring.
Oh,
Do you have a Canvas? Does your course have a Canvas?
yeah. I have English 122.
Right, so there's on the left-hand side, there's a link to tutoring
Mm-hmm.
online that's available at all times. But then also we have are you at the DVC, the Pleasant Hill campus?
Oh, yeah.
So you can go to the Ask, the Academic Support Center at the bottom on the first floor of the library building.
Mm-hmm.
And they will be able to point you to tutors on site,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
But then also, let's see here, right? Under the LibGuides, the research guides. Right, under English. So there's some advice about how to write different types of essays.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions? Again, I'm so happy we could have this time together. And
Yes.
so you came late, but we're recording this. So it'll be posted probably not next week, but maybe the week after. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take good care.
You too. Thank you.